Hello, this is Mark Gordon from the Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition. Before we begin this next episode, a quick word about naming conventions for our location. You may know this place as Transnistria. Locals often call it Pridnestrovie, and Moldova officially refers to it as the Transnistrian Region of Moldova. So for the next hour, when we use any of those names, please know we're talking about the same fascinating, complicated strip of land east of the Dniester River.
This is the Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition. Coming up.
This bottle visited space with Russian cosmonauts. Our guests usually tell us that thanks to this bottle we can touch the universe.
It's a matter of choice. Some people like sleeping on bricks and some people like sleeping on a softer bed.
Her mother is half Jewish, so that's why his favorite food is like farshmak and also like gefilte fish, yes.
So sit back and enjoy the trip with Mark Gordon and David Harris. A happy birthday to me, a happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me, and our special guest, JC.
Oh, that's really good, David. That
Thank
must
you
have taken you seconds to think of that.
Yes, as I was saying it, I thought about it. Happy birthday, JC.
Happy birthday, DZH.
Thank you very much.
No, I'm not wishing you happy birthday. Your birthday's not until June.
Yeah, but by the time this thing goes out, it will have already passed.
Yes, you'll be like really old then.
It's my big birthday.
What do you mean your big birthday?
Well, every 10 years you have a big birthday.
This is a really big birthday.
It's a really, really big
You're
birthday.
halfway dead.
I am. You know, in Hebrew, in the Jewish world, we say Ad Mea Ve'esrim. Until 120 years, you should live in good health and happiness and success. And I'm halfway there.
Happy birthday. Yes, you're halfway there, but as Mark, I wanted to touch your hand.
He's touching his hand. Look at that. JC is new to this, but he's going to touch the mic a lot.
But as Mark said, you have been 60 for the last 20 years, so we've been practicing a lot for it.
No, I think the exact words were, he's an old git.
Okay, yes. And it's my birthday as well. We share a birthday, although I'm not as old as him.
No one is.
So what we're doing is we are heading out on a journey and we're sitting in Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv awaiting our flight.
David, where is your dream location for your 60th birthday? You could go anywhere in the world. Where are we going?
Jeremy, where are we going?
We're going to Pridnestrovie.
Ooh, that's good.
It's a autonomous region to Moldova, shoved in between Romania and Ukraine.
You may also know this area as Transnistria, and we're really excited because we're going to be taking a glimpse into a part of Europe that really doesn't exist very much anywhere else anymore.
For those of you David's age, you will possibly remember seeing parts of Europe that look like this, spanning from Hungary and heading east. There were 10, 11, maybe more countries in the Warsaw Pact as it was, all aligned to Russia. Transnistria maintains a lot of that fabric and has a lot of that feel, so we're told, but we've never been there.
I am super, super excited. JC, any expectations? What are you looking for? What are you looking forward to? What do you want to do apart from getting drunk?
I'm very much looking forward to sampling a little bit of the old Soviet Europe. I think we're going to see big statues, like statues of Lenin. I think we're going to see a lot of traditional villages. I also think we're going to see some fabulous architecture and understand a bit of the history of this region.
And David loves a castle, so I'm sure we'll find a castle or a fortress. And Mark likes to drink heavily, so let's see if there's anything to drink while we're there.
I think before we actually set sail or take to the skies, Mark, you've probably got a quiz question.
I do. Question number 1.
There is only one.
I still do this because we used to have 2 questions. The question is, what currency oddity might you find? Is it wooden coins, plastic coins, square banknotes, or coins with Lenin's hologram on?
The answer at the end of the pod.
This is Mark Gordon from the Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com. The wonders of modern travel is with tools like ChatGPT and Google Translate, Google Maps. The old thing about jumping into a taxi, not knowing where you're going, not knowing who you're talking to. We've just had a lovely conversation with our driver, Victor, who's told us all about his lovely family, his 3 boys, and he's now taking us to Tiraspol, which is a nice hour-long journey. Sadly, it's dark. We can't really see what's going on, but we're going to have some fun here.
We'll tell you a little bit about our fascinating flight in a second, but I am minded to talk about a book that I read in the 1980s called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You know how they say that real life often mimics fiction? Well, in the story of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is about the travels of the last human after the destruction of the Earth, a man called Arthur Dent, he has the same problem. He doesn't understand all the languages of the galaxy, and his friend, whom he thought was from London, turned out to be an alien, just says to him, put your head on the side for a second, and he just slaps into him a little fish. And the fish, brilliantly, is called the Babel fish because it can translate every language. And that was, a dream back in the 80s, and yet here we are travelling through the countryside of Central Europe and able to converse with Victor as he takes us across to Tiraspol. Anyway, that was my talking, and now we're going to hear from JC. JC, tell us a little bit about the flight.
Our flight was a very interesting experience. Passengers were split into 3 groups. First group were Moldovans going back home. Second group were a few Israeli tourists. But by far the largest, noisiest group on the plane were Kabbalists and various followers of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, who were on their way to Uman and making their presence on the plane very obvious to all.
If they're going to Uman, which is somewhere between a 6 and 12 hour drive away from Chisinau, why would they come through Moldova?
Because of the war in Ukraine, it's impossible to fly direct to Ukraine and take transport to Uman. So they're taking ground transport from Moldova, driving through the night, 8 to 12 hour journeys in luxury coaches and taxis and anything that has 4 wheels, I think, to make their way through to Uman and to celebrate there as they are wont to do.
I won't get into too many details about Transnistria at this stage because hopefully we've got guides with us tomorrow from the Ministry of Digital Development, is it?
I believe that's what it's called, or at least I think they're the ones who facilitated our safe passage. But I believe we're going to be met by somebody called Anna. We'll find out if it really is Anna tomorrow.
But we're doing what David wanted to do for his birthday. He said, I want to go to a Russian hotel. I want something very, very historical, very, very old school. I mean, the centre of Tiraspol, allegedly, and having not been there, I can't tell you, is supposed to be like a city lost in time to some extent. And we're going to the most hotel lost in time that we could find.
Do you remember, even before we were presenting this podcast, going to a very special hotel in Kiev in Ukraine?
I do. David and my lust for travel started when we were following Manchester City, who, by the way, are playing tonight, so we'll find a bar, hopefully, somewhere that's showing it. Was following Manchester City about, and we went to Kiev to watch Manchester City play Dynamo Kiev. What we did is we found a lovely hotel in the centre of Kiev, and it used to be where Soviet politicians would go when they came to Kiev. There was a big red interior in the reception area, lots of crystals hanging down. It had that really luxurious Soviet feel to it.
It was designed as an octagonal atrium with all the bedrooms on the different balconies, and they could look down over the reception area. Do you remember breakfast?
That's my favourite memory. Such a beautiful, stunning hotel. The rooms were enormous. They had the toweling robes. It was true luxury until you got to breakfast. And then it was as austere as you could make it. A lady would come and would slap breakfast down on a plate. It was like, you're having sausage. I don't care whether you eat it or not. Sausage.
Anyway, we are sure that we're going to have a very, very different experience. That was a number of years ago and things have changed enormously. We're really looking forward to this evening. I guess we'll talk to you after this. Before we even get to our hotel, we thought it would be interesting to tell you about our experience driving in towards Tiraspol.
having driven through the forest and losing the internet for about 10 minutes, which is terrible because we can't keep up with the football score, we came to the border. It's a really interesting border. It's not a crossing, it's 3 crossings in one. You start from the Moldovan crossing, that's just a simple drive through. Then in the middle there is a Russian army crossing.
When we say a Russian army crossing, we're actually talking about Russian soldiers.
Yes. And again, you drive through slowly, but nobody stops you. And then when you get to the Transnistrian border, then you have to hand in your passports. They open the boot, they check what's in the boot, and then you're issued with a tourist visa with your name on it and a print, and you need to take that with you. It doesn't take long, especially at this time of night, but it's slightly more complex than one would expect.
Victor is not only a driver, and we didn't know that he has great tourist guiding skills when we ordered him through one of the taxi apps, but he has been absolutely wonderful host, explaining things along the way. And as Mark was saying before, we don't speak the same language, so we're doing it all through various translation apps. And JC has been keeping tabs on the conversation with Victor. So JC, can you tell us a little bit about the road that we're driving on at the moment?
The realization of where you are in the world actually comes right through. Victor just told us that the road that we're driving on now is the main road that went straight to Odessa. That means straight to Ukraine, which obviously is not used that much anymore. Before the war, everything used to be delivered along this road. Goods, passengers, trains and buses all used this route. But alas, because of the war, there's no more traffic. The borders are closed or heavily guarded. I would say that the road is now defunct.
The road from the airport all the way through to where we are now has been very bumpy. That having been said, if you look along the road, it's very well lit. The whole route, there are all sorts of stores, none of them with names that we in the West might recognise, but plenty of mini shopping malls, plenty of gas or petrol stations along the route, traffic lights here and there pepper the route, and also we've noticed 1 or 2 rather plush, luxurious homes on the sides down wooded roads.
I would mention one other thing that's very noticeable. As soon as you go across the border, everything is in Russian. Beforehand, everything was in Romanian, and then suddenly all the writing turns to Cyrillic, and we are definitely in territory which is more Russian than Romanian.
That's certainly the feel, and I think that we just passed a sign saying welcome to Tiraspol. So we're going to head straight to our hotel, and we'll talk to you in a bit. You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast, Travel Edition, with Mark Gordon, JC, our special guest, and myself, David Harris.
On the way here, we spoke about the wonders of technology and how it makes life simple. And then you turn up in Tiraspol and you find out it isn't quite that straightforward. And even though you've read up, used the internet, used ChatGPT and planned to change money in your hotel, the money exchange is closed when you arrive. So you go to the local restaurant and say, can we pay here in euros? And they go, no.
So then we walked about 20 minutes to a supermarket which had what looks like a cash machine but clearly doesn't work with foreign cards. But right next door, my hero Mark had noticed a bureau de change.
Except it didn't say bureau de change, it had something in Russian.
So how did you know?
I saw a little man behind a window and I saw somebody walking out with cash.
Ah, there you go.
So the key is make sure you've got a route to pay for things. You cannot use an international credit card inside Tiraspol, Bendery.
So on social media, we'll probably post a picture of David holding a wad of notes. 50 euros gets you 950 PMR. So what's that in dollars, shekels? You said you're at about 1 to 5 with the shekel.
Yes.
Right, 5 to 1.
Yes.
And with dollars?
I don't know, given the shekel dollar rate at the moment, I wouldn't want to try and calculate it.
We went into a 24-hour mini supermarket and looked at some of the prices. A nice chunk of cheese was about 8 shekels, which is, what's that, about $2.5, $3.
Yeah.
You were looking at the alcohol, of course.
Of course. A bottle of beer was around $1.50, a bottle of wine, $5. Starting.
In there was Snickers and Skittles and Milka chocolate, which is also very well known now in Israel.
So after that long walk through Yuri Gagarin Boulevard and posing with his statue,
yes,
one other thing to note is the pavements here are a little uneven. They have gutters in the middle of the pavement. Some of the steps are not quite there. I'm not trying to put the place down because generally it's very, very beautiful and green and well maintained and not what I expected when I came here. I thought it would just be lots of tanks and old buildings, but it's actually very classical. But the lights have gone off. So when walking in the street, David has already walked into a bin and damaged his lower nether regions.
Now, having said all of that, the welcome that we got from Yulia at the Hotel Russia was absolutely wonderful. When we went in, it was dark and there was nobody at reception. We walked about 2 yards into the hotel and then up popped Yulia from behind the reception desk and gave us loads of information and the Wi-Fi password and tried to explain to us about the currencies and so on. It was just a really, really nice welcome.
There were some chairs in reception, like, as JC pointed out, design classics. You can lean back in them. Excellent leather footstools with wood underneath. It just looks really well manicured.
Some of the
out
buildings on the main drag, really, really impressive. And there's also the military that we're looking for. There are a couple of tanks that you can see. There's what looks like it's probably a military museum on the main street. Just really beautiful. Lots of Russian flags around, flags of other parts of the Russian sphere of influence as well.
And lots of sheriff supermarkets. We will see that name a lot around here.
This is a compact old town like Danny Kaye would sing through. I'm dating myself.
Ever so slightly.
We are now able to exhibit these pieces of Beethoven.
Oh, hello. Cheesecake.
Where history, culture, and a good meal usually meet. This is the Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition. You probably can't hear it because it's playing very softly in the background of Russian 1990s, 2000s electronic music.
It's very dancey, not really breakfast relaxing classic music.
That having been said, you're saying not very breakfasty. There are 3 gentlemen, it's now 4 gentlemen at the table to our left. And they've got a lovely bottle of champers on ice with their breakfast. I wonder what it's like with a fried egg.
I'm sorry, David, you gave me a spec to find you a traditional Russian hotel. This is actually quite lovely.
The rooms are more Spartan, but very enjoyable. How was the bed? I loved it. Absolutely comfortable.
I got back from my long walk yesterday evening to go and find currency, and I was tired, and I thought, that's a little bit hot. And then I just fell asleep. JC, how was your bed?
It's a matter of choice. Some people like sleeping on bricks and some people like sleeping on a softer bed. That's just me.
It's called back support, JC.
David and I are intrepid travellers. We'll take anything on as a challenge. JC had his travel agent book everything for him. We're like on hand luggage, JC's on the 423 kilo. He doesn't do Spartan at all. He has just been complaining about what I thought was very good for my back. My back feels excellent.
So we got a message at about 6 o'clock this morning from JC. We're in 3 adjacent rooms, and JC says, I broke my toothbrush. And this is not an electric toothbrush.
No, it's a regular.
How do you break a toothbrush?
It just snapped in half. I don't know. Maybe I'm not using it right.
Where were you using it?
I was using it on my teeth. I don't know. There must have been a small fault line in it, and it just broke in my hands.
Super strength.
David, how was your shower this morning?
When we arrived at Hotel Russia, the wonderful Yulia on reception, who was there to greet us this morning as well, she was giving a really long explanation to the 3 of us, and I was busy in my phone or something, not paying any attention. And then she said, would you like me to come and show you how the shower works? And there was a sort of silence for a minute, and we said, no, that's all right. Then this morning I get up and I go to the shower, and it's coming out from the faucets, the taps at the bottom just fine, and nowhere, anywhere in the bathroom is there a lever or something like that to allow the shower head to work.
But do you know what there are? There are instructions on the wall which say, in Russian or Romanian and English, how to use the shower.
But I didn't see that.
You don't wear glasses, so you don't have the...
Need to after that. So David had a shower on his knees with a plastic cup that you're meant to put your broken toothbrush in and just pouring bits of hot water all over me.
Which is good because we find the nicest hotel in Tiraspol. Okay, it's called Hotel Russia and we think it's going to be a Russian experience. David has to reenact that in the bath by kneeling underneath the bath tap.
What I do want to say is, my goodness, do they have hot water? The control's great. There's so many hotels that we've been to around the world where you just don't get water to the temperature that you want.
So most countries, certainly in Europe, have to have like limiters that take the temperature no higher than 60 degrees Celsius.
Otherwise we sue you when we burn ourselves.
Yeah. Although, because David couldn't work the shower, he also couldn't work the thing that regulates the water temperature. What you basically do is you take your nozzle, the tap for the bath, and then you push it against the wall and it becomes the shower. That's all you had to do, is move the bath tap. Instead of like kneeling underneath it, David, at 1 foot high.
Mark said, when we record this bit, and we have to record this bit at breakfast because we have to make fun, he said, let's do it for 2 minutes. And so far, according to my recorder, it's been 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Can we move on now?
Do you know what? The thing about Tiraspol...
travel news.
The thing about Tiraspol and Bender, for those people that visit, is most people who come, they come to Moldova, they come to Chisinau, and then this is a day trip. So not many people get to experience hotels and nightlife in Tiraspol. Not that there was a lot of nightlife, it's very quiet, but we did find a lovely restaurant / bar that was open till 3 a.m.
Excellent.
It's a day trip experience. So I think possibly we should do the day trip experience, but for those of you thinking about coming here, definitely come for the evening.
A lot of fun. We've really enjoyed it. Big tick for Hotel Russia. I think we should probably walk to the Tourist Information Centre.
Lovely.
Hello everyone, my name is Anna, welcome to Pridnestrovie. So now I want you to show you on the map where we are now and what we are going to visit today. So now we are in the Bender city. This is the second oldest city in our country. It was founded in 14th century. And after we will move to the capital Tiraspol. As well, we have attractions not just here, but as well in different regions of our country. For example, in Dubasari, in KvintA and remedies, we have a lot of guest houses where you can relax, you can drink wine, you can taste our national food.
What is the national food?
Mama Liga, this is a corn porridge, it's like a polenta. We have as well sarmali, this is wurstel with the grape leaves. So, and inside they have meat with rice.
Like holishkis.
Yeah, that's true. So we have as well banitsa. This is traditional Bulgarian food. This is like wurstel with a cottage cheese. And as we have a lot of nationalities here, we have different food. For example, Moldavian, Bulgarian, and Russian together. So we have red borscht and so on, and everything that I said before.
70 nationalities?
75 nationalities in our country, because our country was occupied by Turkish, by Ottoman Empire. Also, the story is connected with Poland, with Ukraine, with Russia. So that's why we have mix of nationalities here. And we are great examples how to live friendly, no matter which religion, no matter which language you speak, and no matter which color of skin you have.
So you're telling us about the different parts of the region.
We have Slobodia, here we have a lot of parks, a lot of attractions and hotels in like Soviet period atmosphere. Bender and Tiraspol are most industrial and the hugest cities in our country. And if you move a little bit above, you will see more nature, you will feel more relaxed, and you will see a lot of another plants. For example, in Dubasari we have vineyards of the distillery and winery plant Bouquet of Moldova and KvintA. And the main offices of them are situated in Tiraspol city. As well, in KvintA and remedies, we have a lot of Jewish culture and a lot of Poland culture. We have Jewish synagogues, we have cemeteries, and a very important thing that they founded grave of Shabtai. So that's why a lot of people from Israel come here and they really admire that monument.
Silly question.
Yeah.
It says Bendery on the sign, and it also says Bender. What's the difference between Bender and Bendery?
Frankly speaking, no difference. So sometimes they write like Bandar, sometimes like Banderi. I will tell you the story how it appeared, because Bandar city, it means fortified port or fortress on the trade road. This is a Turkish name of our city. Before it was called Tigina. This is also correct, because here before was a trade road on the river Dniester. It was called Tigania Kach. And here we have version that before here on these territories lived people from Italy, from the city Genova. They were engaged in the trade between East and Europe here. And after, in 15th century, here came Ottoman Empire, and they kicked out Italians, and on their old places they rebuilt this fortress. So that's why we have two names of the city, and both of them are correct.
So there's no Italian architecture here anymore?
Actually, no. We have just maybe some stones that I can show you that we have a proof, and we have one tower, Don John, which not belongs to the historical architecture but to Italian, and you will see it.
The Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition.
They would always say he has a sword in one hand and a marriage contract in the other.
Sancocho is made only with 3 ingredients: ñame, culantro, and also with chicken.
I had the hot stone massage. Either that or I left a couple of empanadas on my back.
Come for the destination and stay for the banter. The Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition.
So now we are in the pavilion of the last Russian Emperor Nikolai II. He was here twice in our city, and the last time he was in 1916. He came here not alone, but with his family, with his wife, daughters, and a son. He wanted by himself to control situation during the First World War. So how many weapons do they have? They are prepared to fight or not. And also they made a lot of charity for this city. For example, they opened different hospitals in the region Sholkovy, and they treated people for free, and his daughters, they were like nurses. So that's why we're very grateful for him. We keep such attractions like pavilion and like the church where he was praying, and we are very proud of that fact.
Another name that we've mentioned while walking around the fortress here is Alexander Nevsky.
Yeah.
Tell our listeners who is Alexander Nevsky and why is he important to this area.
He was a keeper of Orthodox religion. It was a war between Sweden and Russia, and Russian army was very poor instead of Swedish army, which was well equipped, so they had horses, chainmails. Alexander Nevsky, being just 22 years, he decided to call Swedish army on the lake, and the ice was very fragile and they just drowned. So he was very clever. Like now in our church we have a part of his relics. That's why it is called Alexander Nevsky.
The church is Russian Orthodox. It's stunning. It's gold. There's iconography everywhere. Most of our listeners are Jewish, or I'm guessing not Russian Orthodox. How much is a church central to life? How important is religion for people in this part of the world?
90% of our people are Orthodox people, but as well we have a lot of Catholic temples in the northern part of our country, because our country was influenced by Poland, by Jewish people. So I would say that it still now plays an important role, because we celebrate like Easter, we celebrate some holy holidays, and on each weekend we have Orthodox services. Of course, like here go most like aged people, not young people, but anyway, maybe 50% of young people, they really go to the church and they pray, but not every day. For example, when they have some trouble, they can come here and to put candles in such a way.
The fortress complex looks very modern. As you walk, there is a photographic record of the rebuilding here. What was here beforehand, and why was there a project to change it all?
I was here like 15 years ago, and this complex was closed for tourists because here was like a military part before and army. And after that, in 2008, here came President Vadim Krasnoselsky, and he began tourism in our country, and he decided to recreate, to restore all the historical objects here. And the Bandari Fortress was restored in 2008. Before, here was like an empty field, and after he constructed here like hotel, restaurant, and also attractions for children. So this complex is really for the whole family. You can stay here in the historical part, you can enjoy excursion, you can leave your children to eat ice cream, to go in the park, and so on.
And did you say there's a beach here?
Yeah, we have gates, and if you go downstairs by steps, you can arrive to the city beach, which is for free, and it was also restored.
If you're listening to this and you're wondering what the distances are and so on, from Bender to Tiraspol takes about 10-15 minutes, and there are plenty of public vehicles, there are taxis, there are buses. It's very easy to hop from one to the other, yeah?
Actually, we have a lot of public transport. It's not a problem for us. So public communication is very developed here. And if we go with the Soviet trolley bus, which is another attraction of our country, we can arrive to Tiraspol in 20-25 minutes. If we go with a minibus, it will be a bit faster. Yes, and with car, I think 15 minutes.
Talking of the minibus, our driver today, apparently we're going to meet him later on. He also happens to own the canteen.
Anna, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing to us?
So that's our tradition. If you go in our villages, instead of breakfast, you will have vodka or samagonka of 40 or 60 degrees.
You're serious instead of breakfast, or is it a joke?
Yes, like in the village, it's really okay. So, of course, not in the town because we need to work, not just to relax. But anyway, now we are trying our local alcohol beverages like vodka from the winery plant Bouquet of Moldova, which is situated in Dubasari city. So we have vodka, which is based on the quince, on walnuts, and on plums. So you have chosen 3 types. I'm waiting for you to share your opinion about that.
Now, before we take them, there is also here lemon. Why?
Because you need to drink everything at once in order to not leave tears in your glasses. This is our tradition. And after you put lemon, because it's quite, I would say, strong, that's why.
JC, you go first. Which one are you having?
I'm going to take the plum. It's nice and clear. You want me to go for it?
Nostrovia.
Nostrovia.
That was not in one.
It was not in one. No, wow, that's strong.
Have a lemon, JC.
That's very, very nice.
Moving swiftly on, which one are you going for?
I think I was the walnut.
That's very interesting. You went for the one that was more whiskey coloured, like a light gold colour, and the walnut one is actually looks more like a cherry colour.
Oh, a lovely fragrance. I can't quite get the walnut, but... Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, lordy.
How much was in the glass? How many cc?
50 grams in this glass.
The English translation of these glasses they are tinctures, which is such a lovely word, tincture.
There you go. You didn't even bother with the lemon, you alcoholic.
No, I don't want to take away the taste because it was superb. Which leaves the last one, which is, David?
Quince. Do you know where I know the word quince from?
Is it from a nursery rhyme?
It is. It's actually from The Owl and the Pussycat. The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some money.
And plenty of honey.
Wrapped up in a £5 note. And then how did they get to the quince? They dine on quince.
And a runcible spoon or something.
Who wrote that?
Edward Lear.
So to the great Edward Lear, cheers, Nostrovia.
David is one of the leariest individuals you will ever meet.
Welcome, guys.
Oh, lovely. That was really, really good.
How does that compare to last night's horseradish vodka?
Last night, I was completely blocked. I had runny nose. I could not taste a thing. And the two of you were going, oh.
Yeah, we started with the limoncello, which was very subtle with a little bit of burn at the end. And then we went for the horseradish, and it sort of burnt your nostrils as you put it up there.
In case we don't mention alcohol at any future point in this particular podcast, this country is filled with vineyards, the distilleries, the brandies, the vodkas, you name it, you can get it here. The prices for people who live in the West are phenomenally cheap, and that does not mean that the quality is not good. Everything that we've tasted so far that has a percentage proof of alcohol in it has been absolutely first class. The Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition.
It's a very nice wine to pair with food, but you can also drink it just on its own, and that we will do just now.
It's such a pleasure meeting an entire crew that are so smiley, so happy, and so invested in the work that they do.
Welcome in Würzburg, and it's time to let the party begin.
From Jerusalem to just about everywhere, the Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition.
Bandari Fortress was built in the middle of 16th century by Ottoman Empire by Sultan Suleiman its ruler. And Moldavian rulers, they were very courageous. They refused to take Muslim religion as well as to pay taxes to the Turkish people. That's why Sultan Suleiman became very angry and he went against Moldova. So first of all, he captured Suceava, the previous capital of Moldavian kingdom. Now it's part of Romania. And after that, he took the southern territories between the river Prut and Dniester, where we are now. And in order to protect his new territories and strengthen the power, Sultan decided to build fortress which is called Bender. Bender from Persian language means fortified port or fortress on the trade road. So trade road was a river Dniester itself. That's why they constructed this fortress, namely in this place, because of the trade road, because it was the richest customs in Ottoman Empire. Now we are in the citadel, in the heart of this fortress. I can say you about these walls. So they are made of limestone, shell rocks and white of eggs. This fortress actually was built in 3 stages, I would say. Before was built a citadel. After, in order to protect this fortress better, they also constructed the lower fortress, which consists of 12 towers. And after, they made like 10 exterior bastions. Scale will be 67 hectares.
Do you know what hectares are? Do you know 67 hectares?
Can't translate it to acres or dunam or anything like that, I'm afraid.
It's a huge area.
Yes, it's really a huge area. And also here was a city nearby to this fortress. So here lived 10,000 of citizens and 12,000 of soldiers. Were 2 primary schools and 9 mosques. Unfortunately, all mosques are destroyed nowadays, but we can see some stones that remain from that period in the museum. And also very important part that Turkish people also created here a ditch, a moat. So this moat, as unusual, it was always empty. It was never filled with water. For that we have 2 reasons. Before, we are up and the river Dniester is down. It was very impractical and very expensive to transport here pipes with water. And also water that stays can provoke a lot of infectional diseases such as cholera, malaria and typhus. And the Turkish army could die. So that's why it was empty.
Anna, of the things that we see, how much is original and how much is reconstructed?
The citadel, as you can see, is actually original one. So they just changed a little bit the roofs and some stones. They just like strengthened it.
Like any other castle and fortress, there are legends, treasures and ghosts. Tell us a little bit.
As usually, Turkish people, they used to have a harem, a group of people with whom they made children. And the chief, the commandant of this fortress, was in love with a girl, Verika, from the village Varnica. She was stolen here by Janissaries, by Turkish soldiers. And as a young woman, she always wanted to escape from here. So she was captured by soldiers 3 times. And after that, she was imprisoned in the tower donjon. Even after she gave a birth to a son of that commandant. But in the end, she managed to run with a child. The chief was very angry with her and he decided to kill her. So she was thrown down from the top of this tower and she died. And after that, people say that in the middle night, when the moon is full, her spirit usually repeats her last role. So she goes from the tower donjon, goes along the walls, and after she goes here downstairs. And usually her spirit stood here nearby to this wall. Each soldier that saw her spirit, he had a bad luck, so he could die, happen something bad. And that's why soldiers shot in her spirit. And here you can see remains of the bullets of that time, not just of weapons of 16th century, but as well of Kalashnikov. Just in 2006, they found her relics, and she was put underground by all the traditions. And from that time, people say that Verika rests in peace. A lot of people, even from Kazakhstan, they filmed a lot of movies about this spirit. And even people, here was an army before, and the soldiers were afraid to serve here in the night.
Talking of spirits, do the people that see her, do they start off at the coffee house and have vodka first?
I think after 5 shots we can see her.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition. Anna, can you tell us what we're looking at?
These are dishes that are from the Soviet period, but our people eat this every day. We have beans, red borscht, which is with the beetroots, smashed potatoes like puree, pasta, rice with meat, and sarmali. This is cabbage leaves. Inside we have meat and rice. And a lot of homemade cutlets.
Still in Bender, we've come to a Soviet canteen. We'll do an interview about it in a few moments with Anna, but right now we're being introduced to all the various foods. I've got a beetroot salad, there are beans, there's potatoes. For those who are vegetarian, there are plenty of salads. There's carrots, I see a cabbage and cucumber salad, there's a feta cheese, tomato and cucumber salad. There's a potato salad at the back that looks like it might have some ham in it, but really lovely spread. And the ladies who are serving us are replete with red headscarves with a hammer and sickle on them.
My name is Alexander Alexandrovich, and I'm the owner of the Soviet canteen, and now we're situated in the city center of Bender.
What was the idea behind the canteen?
Большая история. Мы были изначально не на этом месте.
The rich story behind this, because he wanted to open just a canteen, and the city administration offered to him a place on the bus station. But for you to know, the bus station, as it was created in 1966, it wasn't restored. So it is in its original form until now. And when he saw this entourage, I would say, this architecture, he said, okay, here should be like a Soviet canteen, because nothing changed from that period. And so after they gave him like this building, actually it's also from the Soviet period, and he said, okay, I will not think about that, because he asked many designers to help him to make a facade of this canteen, and after they say, let's make it easy.
И все. И вот с этого момента это было в 17 году.
You're a good-looking guy, you're a young guy. How much do you remember from those days, or are you too young to remember from before the 1990s?
So he said that he was born in 1981, and he remembers very well that period, and he has just pleasant remembrances about that, because his father and his grandfather, they worked quite like 45 years on the factory, and he was participating in all the holidays of the Soviet period. For example, 1st May, 9 May, and so on. He went to the parade with that balls, with that full blazons, and he's very sad that what happened after collapse of the Soviet period, because he has a nostalgia about that period till now, and he wanted to recreate that atmosphere in this canteen.
Те моменты, которые я застал, только супер.
Alexander, what is on the menu here?
This is multinational country, so we have multinational gastronomy. We have food which is gathered from different cultures, from Bulgarian, from Gagauzia, Moldovan, Russian, Ukrainian, no matter. And each guest that come from foreign country, they can find for them like the dish that is from his homeland.
Кухня отчасти, 100%.
So what's your favorite, or what did you grow up with that you're recreating here?
Her mother is half Jewish, so that's why his favorite food is like farshmak, and also like fish, filled fish, like
gefilte fish.
Yes, gefilte fish. Yes. And his father is half Romanian. That's why he adores as well mama liga, corn porridge. It tastes like polenta. And he said like also his favorite remembrance from his childhood is banitsa. Banitsa is a traditional Bulgarian food, which is like versatile with a cottage cheese.
On the table, as well as all the wonderful food, are bottles of beer. And not just bottles of beer, bottles of cream soda, of pear drink. Are these related to Russia in any way?
The enterprise, the beer plant, was founded in 1930, so we can say that this is from Soviet period actually, but till now our people keep the recipe of that period because they use natural syrup and they don't put chemicals or some preservatives, for that. That's why it's really very unique.
Alexander, before we say goodbye and thank you, do you have a website or an email or some way people can be in touch?
Столовка СССР. Instagram.
Stolovka SSSR, Instagram, it will be the same.
Alexander, thank you for hosting us and thank you for taking us around in your lovely new bus.
Спасибо вам огромное, с большим
With a
удовольствием.
great pleasure. Finally, I'm not staying alone in that car, so finally I have honor guests.
Спасибо.
Spasiba. The Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition.
White sausage, which we eat for breakfast, with a Weiss beer and a sweet mustard and pretzel.
If your test looks like that, you are in a lot of trouble.
The toilet is open to the public for viewing only.
From Jerusalem to just about everywhere, the Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition.
We've now headed back into Tiraspol, and the first thing that you have to do is eat, because it's not good enough that we just ate up the road in Bender. So now we've come to the Green Market, which is the biggest market by far in the area.
Why is it called the Green Market, David? I'm looking round and I can't see why.
Fruit and veg?
Possibly, or the fact everything is painted green.
And the ladies who just served us are both dressed in green aprons, and there's a green bin behind you.
We've walked past the vegetables, very simple choices: onions, tomatoes, cucumbers, courgettes. Good Jewish boys like us, straight to the pickles.
There was pickled cabbage, there's pickled tomato, there is garlic, vine leaves, you name it, it's pickled. When you grew up, I think we've discussed this before on the podcast, what did you call these when you grew up?
Gherkins, although they were smaller. Wallies sometimes.
Wallies? JC, what did you call them growing up?
Always pickled cucumbers, regardless.
You're so posh. What about Yiddish?
Pickled cucumbers.
Ugakiz.
Bless you, but no.
Ugakiz. You never heard the word ugakiz for pickled cucumbers?
No.
Honestly. Anyway, I'm going to have an ugaki. What have you got?
So we've got two different types here. We've got in brine and in vinegar. So I've got brine, so I'm now going to... Oh.
You always say that. Do you do that at home as well? When you eat something, you go, oh.
No, but I don't normally have a microphone stuffed near my face. I'm trying not to dribble on the microphone. But this is lovely. It's softer than I would expect. There's no crunch to it.
But isn't that normally the case with the salty ones, that they don't go crunchy?
No, not necessarily. It depends how long they've been sitting there. I used to work on the production line in a pickle factory. So depending on how much cigarette ash you dropped in it and how many insects you cleared out of the barrel, that was a good sign of how old it was.
I assume at this point we shouldn't mention the make or brand so you don't get sued and we don't put people off purchasing them.
Correct.
JC, you've got vinegary?
Yeah, I've got a vinegar one. Hang on a second. Very, very nice. Crunchy. I think we're in the home of pickled cucumbers. I think Central Europe, especially this area, is where they came from anyway. This is really good.
Can you make that noise again? Thank you very much.
We are trying the honey. This one is made of acacia. Yeah.
Hang on. That is really, really nice. Does anybody know what I'm eating?
I don't know. So which honey did he get and which honey did I get?
Acacia flower honey. And now you're going to try very special honey like buckwheat honey. This is, I think, the most delicious. It's very interesting taste.
We just moved across from stall 527, which is Honey Central, with the amazing acacia and buckwheat based honeys, and we've come to stall number 548. What's over here?
Here we have like treatment herbal, I would say not syrups, but they are based on vodka with the plants. So something is used for the massage and something you need to take with the food for different diseases that you have, so depends. Here they have a lot of plants and herbs that I don't know even in Russian how it will be. This one, for example, Christmas tree, based on vodka, black pepper. Have no idea even in Russia what it is.
So there are dozens and dozens of different bottles. Are these the prices on the top?
He's written like 50 rubles. It will be around 2.5 or 3 euros.
For a bottle?
Yeah. It's around 100 milliliters.
So small bottles, all beautiful colours. And even if you don't take these or use them for massage, if you've got a really good light behind them, it would shine up beautifully in all sorts of different shades of brown. But now you're holding leaves.
Yes, these are leaves for preparing tea, as I know. So we put a boiled water and after we can drink that. This really helps because I drink that in order to relax after work.
A lot of herbal remedies and so on we associate with older people. You're a young woman. How much do you and your friends take these types of things for calming, and how much do you go for more going to a pharmacy or something like that?
When I was 20 years old, I always wanted to buy some pharmacies from the drugstores. And now when I'm 30 plus, so I'm looking for some natural ingredients. So that's why I really like to drink some natural herbs and to make natural treatment.
Hi, this is David Harris from the Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod, or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com.
The best Wi-Fi in the city just happens to be in the park. We have moved from the Green Market through a lovely park, past some swans, and now we are at Flag Utopia. There are flags everywhere, as well as a great big statue. Anna, tell us about the square and the flags.
Guys, now we are in the city center of Tiraspol. We can see the monument of Alexander Suvorov. He's a founder. Russian Empress Catherine the Great gave an order to him to build this city as well as Grigoriopol. And here we can see a lot of flags. So first of all, our Pridnestrovian flag that has two colors, red and green color. Red color means revolution of blood. And green, means like greenery because we have a lot of trees and as well as hope for the good future. And another flags that you can see, these are blazons of our regions, of our cities. For example, Duba, Sari, Kamin, Ribnica, Bender, Tiraspol and Slobodia. For example, blazon of Tiraspol city, we have a river Dniester because this city stands on the river. So Tiras means from Greece language like Dniester and Polis like a city. So that's why. There also we have a road, which means that we are industrial city and as well a shape of a grape because we produce a lot of wines and cognac.
David, what are the other three flags?
The flag in the centre, once again, is the flag from here, where we are right now. And on either side, I don't know which one's which, but one is Abkhazia and one is South Ossetia. Which one's which?
That's very true. So the first one is Abkhazia and another one, this is South Ossetia. And in the middle we have our Pridnestrovian flag. So why they stay here? Because they recognized us as an independent country as well as we did with them. So this is community that we will be recognized one day. Here also was the flag of Nagorno-Karabakh, but it's already Azerbaijan.
And if you want to know more about those places, just hop on to Google or any other search engine and you'll find out all about them, their stories, their struggles, and their parallels to where we are right now. The Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition.
We've only sampled a little part of the ship. We haven't been to the kids' club. We haven't been to the gym.
A little chutzpah, a lot of curiosity. The Jerusalem Post podcast Travel Edition.
Hello, my name is Sofia, and today you're welcome to our winery and distillery KvintA, which was founded in 1897. Next year we will celebrate 130th anniversary of our distillery. KvintA is there above the phrase cognac, wine and beverages of Tiraspol.
I am very happy to be here. I actually have a bottle of KvintA at home from my trip here last year. Tell us about the different products you have here. It's not just brandy, is it? There are lots and lots of different products.
Of course, KvintA nowadays is the hugest production, not just the production of brandy or divine. Nowadays we use this brand. KvintA also produce classical type of wine, sparkling wine, ice wine, vodka, gin.
Tell us about the bottle in the corner and its outer space experience.
Yeah, we have the unique bottle. This bottle visited space with Russian cosmonauts in 1998. It was the great experience for our distillery, and nowadays this bottle returned us from the cosmonauts, and we have it in the museum. Many of our guests usually tell us that thanks to this bottle we can touch the universe nowadays.
Where are the customers?
Of course, nowadays we have the distributors all over the world. Thanks to them, we can spread our customers. Majority of our partners are in Moldova. Besides, we have some of them in China, USA, Bulgaria, Turkey, and many other.
Let's go to the bottling plant, shall we?
Yeah, sure. So we are in the bottlery department. All the lines you see are automatic. We use them for bottling process. Per 1 hour, each line can bottle 6,000 bottles of product. In general, all the departments, if they are working all together, they can bottle 16,000 bottles per 1 hour. In general, our distillery produces per year 20 million bottles of alcohol absolute.
20 million. So if I take home one a day, it would take me about 20,000 years to drink through everything produced in 1 year.
He's willing to try. Well, we've sniffed. We have already felt somewhat inebriated from the nasal imbibement of the alcohol, but now we're in a tasting room, which is very exciting. So what drinks do you have for us?
We have a special collection of Kosher, Divin, brandy, 12 months, Divin 3 years old, Kosher, and 5 years old, Kosher.
What is the way to drink brandy? Is it exactly the same as wine, or are there specific customs to get the best out of your glass?
We have a special tradition. First of all, we put the brandy in the glasses. Then we need to warm it to open the aroma. Then on the first step, we analyze the aroma of the product. Then we fill it. And then we taste step by step and open for yourself the bouquet of all the Divin we have.
With certainly a chilled wine, you would never hold the glass the way your colleague Natalia is holding it. You would hold the wine by the stem so as not to warm the crisp, refrigerated wine. Here you're saying you do the opposite in order to partly warm the brandy up.
Yeah, sure. We never warm the sparkling wine, vodka, something like that. Our Divin, in general, Divin products, brandy products, they prefer warm temperature. That's why we definitely, with the help of our hands, warm it like the baby. And then we taste this pleasant aroma.
JC, what are you up to?
I've got a glass of brandy in my hand. It's between my fingers. Warming it up, I can smell it. I mean, you can really, really smell the aroma. Each time the brandy swirls around, you get a real shot of the aroma. It's amazing that it's kosher. We can have a taste and see what we think.
Go for it.
That is really good brandy. We've had a lot of kosher brandies, a lot of brandies that have tried their very best to be high class. This is really good stuff.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I wish I had a cigar now to go with this.
100%.
I am finishing off probably my second glass of the 5-year Divin KvintA Kosher for Passover.
This is after you had the, 12 months and then the 3-year?
It's after I had the 12 months, the 3-year and the 5-year. I was asked, did I want one for the road? The 5 is that combination of warmth and smoothness. The 3 is warmth, the 12-month is smoothness. This is both, and it is absolutely fantastic.
Mark has been employed by Quint.
I'm not employed. I'm just a cheap date. Give me some of this. And do you know the word? And we haven't said it much. Glorious. It's absolutely glorious.
It really is. I have to say, our friend and colleague JC hasn't been able to stand up yet. He's just slumped at the table while everybody else is photographing us and filming us and ready to go. What an amazing experience. And Sophia is an incredible guide with an incredible depth of knowledge. And Natalia, who you haven't heard from, who really understands what happens in this company, has also been a tremendous aid in our tasting.
To all our listeners out there, if you like brandy in any format and you want kosher brandy, this is so much better than anything I've had anywhere else in terms of brandy. It's just gorgeous. It's just smooth and lovely. I have a bottle at home. By the time we finish this trip, I will have at least one more bottle at home. I'm really happy to be here.
And you can get it in Israel, you can get it in America, and probably lots of other places. You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast, Travel Edition.
Oh, David.
Oh, Mark.
I'm actually very sleepy. The quint has gone to my head.
So we heard it pronounced both ways. We heard quint and kvint. What do you reckon?
Quint.
It's very interesting. You say quint and Sophia said kvint sometimes. I wonder if it depends on whether it's an international market or a local market with the pronunciation.
I think it is pronounced the same, like quint.
To Anna, who has been our wonderful, lovely host, who has appeared at multiple points to make us sound intelligent, because we're really not.
To her colleagues Anastasia and their senior colleague Igor, a really big thank you. And
to Alexander, who has taken us to 2 of his Soviet canteens, as well as driving us around in his brand new bus. Thank you, Alexander.
It's been an absolutely fabulous time. Before we get back to our traditional quiz question, we've just got a little bit more to ask Anna before we say a farewell. Anna, I assume you've got a website. What is it? What can people find there?
So we have additional information. We have our website, which is called Pridnestrovia.com. It is composed of 2 pages. It is written in English and in Russian languages. And this is like a private guide for you for free. And you can choose a city, whatever you want, and you will see the main attractions. And as for people from Israel, we have a lot of attractions in the northern part of our country, especially in Rashko village and in KvintA. We have a lot of synagogues, Jewish cemeteries, and the grave of Shabtai, which was founded just few years ago. So please come and discover this.
And that's a site for Hasidic pilgrimage, one of the founders of the Hasidic movements, about 300 years ago, as a guess.
If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe to the podcast. If you want to contact us on social media, at Mark David Pod on Instagram, Mark and David's Travels on Facebook, also at Mark David Pod. Our email is markdavidpod@gmail.com. You can find us at Mark David Pod on X. We're not on TikTok. We're not on Blu-ray, Blue Sky, whatever that one is. There's only so many things we can update in one go, but that's where you can find us.
Mark, do you happen to have a podcast question and answer?
I do. What currency oddity might you encounter in Pridnestrovia? Was it wooden coins, plastic coins, square banknotes, and coins with Lenin holograms on them?
Anna, do you know the answer?
Yes, of course. So plastic coins is a must-have souvenir that you need to bring from here, because before it was created for blind people, because by its form they could distinguish the currency. It was so uncomfortable, guys, because everybody lost it from the pocket. That's why we demolished this currency. But now, if you want to take it as a souvenir from here, you can buy it in our state banks like Agroprom Bank.
Farewell from me.
Shalom and lehitraot.
До свидания с Приднестровьем.